Hey crew, I've got the key to this 25 Audi SQ7, and today we're gonna see what it's like to live with. Starting with the spacing in my driveway, which is 16 feet wide by 19.5 feet long. I've got the SQ7 parked right there at the edge. Nice job, Miles. Thank you, Miles. Sitting next to a new Range Rover Sport that my wife and I are reviewing. If you want to check out her content, it's at Mobile Mama on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. She's got that one parked with about 6 inches of room on the right tire, and that does leave enough space with the power folding door mirrors for me to easily walk between the vehicles, though not quite enough room to wheel our double stroller through for our kiddos. The nose of the SQ7 hovering right there into the gutter at the front of my driveway, and that leaves lots of space at the back of the vehicle, even enough room to walk in front of the hedge to my front door. When first hopping inside with the key fob in my pocket, I can put my hand on any of the 4 door handles and that will unlock all 4 doors. Opening up the door, wow, that's actually the first defined notch. It's pretty far out there, but thankfully from there, you can sort of pause the door wherever you want and will hold. That gives me great access to this cabin. And closing up that door, hello cabin crew, thanks for joining for this day in the life in the 25 Audi SQ7. And yes, as you can hear it clearly in my voice, I'm not feeling great today, but that's not going to stop me from making this video or from actually getting some exercise later. We'll talk about that in a sec. In this video, I want to find out if having the V8 in the Q7 actually makes life better or more complicated. Let me begin by showing you where I would stash the items I bring with me every day, like my smartphone. That can go under the adjusting armrest console and on the wireless charging pad next to my sunglasses. And there is a felt lining on the console, so I'm not worried about scratching those lenses, but this is a pretty shallow console. These are the only things that fit inside, meaning my wallet has to sit on the tray in front of that console. My extra large water bottle, my 40-ounce bottle, does fit in the door pocket. That was impressive to me. Though there wasn't room behind that or anywhere else in this cabin for my GoPro accessories, so I had to stick those inside the glove box. Thankfully, that was big enough to hold those. Oh, and the key fob has its own home in between the cup holders, so you, or more likely I, don't lose it. I like that. So I'll say the cabin storage is acceptable, though I wish the console was just a bit larger. Now let's fire up the SQ7. Oh, snarling V8. Go listen to that idle from outside. Oh my gosh, that sounds so good. Okay, so it's great for me as the owner of this vehicle, but for my neighbors, that might be a bit of a loud chorus to start the morning. It does settle down after a couple minutes, but at startup, may wake a few folks up. I'm only pausing back inside this cabin for a sec to raise my temp and turn on my seat heaters. I could have done that via app with remote start, but I don't own the vehicle, so I don't actually have the app. Now, I'm gonna raise up that trunk lid to prepare the way for my bike to slide in because I'm gonna go for a ride. Now to get the 3rd row down, there are power controls. However, there are not controls to get the 2nd row down, not even levers to pull. So I have to go to the 2nd row and pull on these levers to lower the seats. Oh, so much manual labor. All right, that's down, and that does seem like a lot of room. Probably enough to get my bike in without even removing the front tire, but let's find out. All right, I've added a blanket to protect the carpeting, and this is the moment of truth. Will it fit? Oh gosh, easily. The back tire isn't anywhere close to touching the front seats. There's still all this extra room. I could fit another bike with the front tires still attached without issue. Okay, got my helmets, and you know what? These tires are a little bit low. I'm gonna grab my bike pump. Ooh, which does remind me, I just installed this GR48 Fleximounts overhead garage storage rack, and it's already made a big difference getting, well, some of the clutter off my garage floor. The rest is on me. And the install was really simple. Once I found my ceiling studs, measured out the mounting points and the distances between, got the brackets installed up there, set the height of the vertical posts, installed those, and then linked together the racks, and with some help, got them up and on there. I think the install took less than an hour. And because it's manufactured from cold rolled steel, it can hold up to 600 pounds. So I'm not worried that it's hovering over the hood of my Demon 170. And this setup worked for me But if I had taller ceilings, I could actually lower the vertical posts up to 40 inches for more storage space. And if I had a bigger footprint to use, which I do not, then I could actually utilize the extra 4x4 feet of racking that they do include in the packaging. But it's nice that it's flexible to use in a space like mine that is smaller. And I highly recommend this. If you guys want to pick one up, I will have a link in my description. En route to my ride, let's talk about some of the most critical daily driving details of the SQ7. Things like the turn signal sound. Oh, there's a grace to that tune, and it's not so loud that if I was sitting in a light for a long time, I'd feel compelled to turn it off. Now let's see about the turning radius. Wheel fully cranked, and good heavens, that is such a tight turning circle. Unreal. Now let's say someone cuts me off in the SQ7. I have to go to the horn, gotta let them hear about it. What are they gonna hear? A dignified complaint. But what's not so dignified is the slowing to a stop in an SQ7, because while there's certainly brake force, there's not a smoothness, because there's a grabbiness to the brakes at the final bit of slowing. And as much as I try to feel out that perfect pedal pressure, I still find myself lurching forward. And compounding that is that the start-stop system cuts out pretty early on, so you feel that engine shut off, you lurch forward, oh, and then the brakes grab up on you. To help that at least a little bit, you can turn off start-stop here, but it's a thirsty V8, so you're taking that into consideration. Thankfully, as you're moving away from that stop, the buildup of power from this twin-turbo V8 is silky. And of course, it's abounding with 500 horses and over 500 pound-feet of torque. The 8-speed auto changes gears in the background. You never really notice that. And as for the ride quality, with this sport-tuned suspension, you do feel a little more of the road imperfections as pulses in through to your seats, but the adaptive air suspension provides this dampening from the sharpness of those impacts. So the end result is a feeling of sportiness for sure, but what you don't have is the punishment of a sports car. You also only get as much V8 noise in the cabin as you really want. If you're in the auto drive mode and you're just gently working the throttle, there's that low rumble just hovering around the cabin, but it's only if you go into sport or into dynamic and you really dig in that the V8 checks in. Now I just have to see what kind of motor I'll have in me today, feeling like this on my ride. Well, wish me luck. So it turns out, it wasn't so much the lack of energy, but the inability to breathe that made that difficult. Well, the SQ7 is a cool looking SUV to come back to. Well, I'll tell you one thing that's guaranteed to be quicker than my ride, and that is a real world 0 to 60 test. I've got my race box set up here to record. I'm in dynamic and sport. I've got traction control switched all the way off. I'm gonna hold my foot on the brake, build up the revs, let it go. Whoa, there goes the bike. And there's 60 in 3.85 seconds. This is 3 rows of fury. The SQ7 was most definitely burning some fuel right there, and I was burning calories on my ride, so I'm pretty hungry, and I think it's about time I get something that's simple and protein-packed and portable. This sounds like a job for Flame Broiler. Oh, look at the old rabbit. Anyway, I need to park this bad boy. Let me throw it into this space here. Back it on up. Click it into reverse. High-res camera, that's nice. Trajectory lines, always helpful. Bird's eye view. That's useful for finding the lane markings and squeezing in between. Parking sensors. will chime in as well. And here we are. Yeah, this is perfect for eating at stoplights. And in between those lights, you can kind of sit there in the cup holder as long as I keep my acceleration to a minimum. But how's the SQ7 gonna treat the friends and fam in the second and third rows? Let's see. So here I am at 6 feet tall behind my own driver's seat. My knees do clear the back of the seat, if only just barely, but I can slide the seat quite a ways back, and that gives me a lot more knee room. My head fits underneath the suede wrapped headliner on the Prestige trim. Lots of light coming in from the pano sunroof, and I can also recline this seat a good deal back, and this is nice, but I'm gonna want this middle seat to also recline to the same degree, which it can, provided there's not a person in there who doesn't want to be reclined, because if it doesn't, then my shoulders pushed forward uncomfortably. If I wanted to try out that middle seat, then I could slide my feet over the raised drive shaft hump, and because of that, I do have to put my feet further in to the foot pocket area of what would be my fellow passengers. Most likely, either no one's gonna be here or a kid, and if it was unoccupied, then there's an armrest that comes down with cup holders. And this is a 4-zone climate control system on Prestige with 2 USB-C ports and a DC outlet. Other mentionables in that second row, these seats are heated with the option group we have, and there are sunshades with the Prestige trim. Now, to get to the third row, I'm gonna fold the seat down, then press in here and lift up. That will give me a really nice access point to the third row, so I can just walk on back as soon as I duck my head. But if I bring this back, oh gosh, I can't even do that, and then lift it up. That's what I'm dealing with in terms of knee room, as in there's not any at all. So I would need this person to slide the seat further forward. And as we saw, if they're taller, they're not gonna have much in the way of knee room. But as it sits, you could not put an adult back here, certainly not safely. And more of an issue is the headroom. I've got none of it. So this is just gonna be for kids, and they're gonna be on the smaller side. And I don't have any amenities. Okay, so that's older kiddos and adults taken care of. What about the car seats? Well, the SQ7 has a great setup, so many options, because there are 5 sets of lower latch anchors across the second and third row, and 5 top tethers. But as we just saw with the spacing in the third row, unless the second row is slid pretty much all the way forward, the lower latch anchors in the third row for rear-facing car seats seem kind of pointless. There's just not enough room. So that is just gonna be for forward-facing car seats. And unless you need the third row, most likely you'll just put the car seats in the second row. So because of the wide door openings, it's real easy to get that car seat loaded in on both sides. And for my daughter's rear-facing car seat, the latch anchors were exposed as soon as I pulled off this leather cover and just stuck it in the door. Now, when I was linking up the forward-facing car seat, I did need to fold down the third row to access the tether point, but when I did, that was real easy to install, and this is nice and secure. Behind my driver's seat, my daughter's gonna have plenty of legroom. Now, for that seat, this is all the margin I can give myself behind the car seat, and what that does to my knee room is keep it a little bit tight. My knees do clear the dashboard, but this isn't quite as much space as I would expect. If I extend out my legs, then that's better. So I'm gonna say that the SQ7, as long as you're not trying to squeeze in big adults in all 3 rows or rear-facing car seats in the third row, is family approved. But today we're really gonna put that to the test with a family trip to the zoo.
Say yay!
Yay! Let's go. And we're really gonna need this SQ7 to show us the most pleasant of rides on our 2-hour journey to San Diego, depending on traffic, because we didn't have a great night. Kids didn't sleep well. There was a lot of screaming this morning. And
well, we're sick.
We're sick. We're all sick. I mean, I said that yesterday, but we are all sick. So you sound great. So yeah, we need chill. So what's the SQ7 gonna provide? Already off to a bit of a rough start here. I've noticed there's not an auto hold function in the SQ7. So for all these stoplights on this one street, I keep having to hold the brake firmly. And it wouldn't be a big deal on a normal day, but today everything is fatigued. So I need all the help I can get. Audi, add the auto hold, please. But you know what? We're gonna give the SQ7 a helping hand with the artificial mood enhancement of coffee here at Raised by Lions. I sound terrible. We got our coffees, and they were much needed. Even if mine is, yes, as always, a decaf. It's still, it does something to my brain chemistry.
Effect.
It may be, and that's fine. I need the placebo, especially today. Okay, so now that we're on the highway and we're moving at a decent clip, let's talk about how quiet it is in here, because Lord knows we need some quiet this morning. So let's... Well, it was very quiet for a moment until that rock flew up and hit the windshield. Thankfully, I don't think there's a chip or a crack. We're good. But yeah, it was really nice and quiet in here. Very well insulated, very well built. This is clearly built to go quickly on the highway in relative silence. How about the seats? You find them to be comfortable?
How about them?
Yeah. Well, I know the knee space isn't great.
Not happy with that. I wish it had thigh extenders.
Yes.
But the cushion itself down
even
here
manual
on the
thigh extensions would be good. Like power, I don't care. Just like give me something, because yeah, we've got leg hanging off, and I do have about the same leg length as you, which is why I kind of fit yesterday in that passenger seat, but not with a lot of room.
Yeah.
So yeah, we need thigh extenders here.
Right, but the cushion on the bottom of the seat is like nice.
Bottom cushion's good.
The back is a bit more firm and upright, but I don't mind it.
The shape's good. Like ergonomic, doesn't squeeze you too much.
No, it's really nice.
That's solid. Oh, and massage.
Yes.
Massage is always a nice to have. Lots of options here as well. What do you feel about the aesthetic? Does this feel like a luxurious way to cover some ground?
Oh yeah, you got the carbon fiber.
Yes.
You got leather, suede. Like everything looks nice.
Yeah, this one does have the extended leather package, so it's all the way up here on the dashboard and on the upper part of the door sills. That helps. That's worth the money, I think. Really elevates your experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah, see, there's some pretty nice digs for our drive. And that is something you don't see every day. A Noble M400. You're making fun of me? This is cool. That just driving around in normal commuter traffic? It's wild. Well, you know what's funny? We actually have more power than he does. I mean, obviously it weighs a lot less, but you just see about the passing power of the SQ7. Merge over. Ooh, there it is.
Oh, right behind the Prius.
Right behind the Prius.
You're gonna zoom
That's what I wanted.
Right
behind the Prius.
Oh yeah.
Goodness, that V8 sounds good. Wipers work well.
Oh, you know what I noticed? That you said that, remember? Do you see the drops that you said were just from last night?
Yeah.
No, it's sprinkling.
Ah, okay.
I was right.
I see. You're usually right. But look at that Noble. It looks like such a kid car. I mean, it basically is. It's British built, and they just made it work. Dude has some years on him, and he has decided that this is how he wants to spend them. I love it. I mean, it's great.
It looks like he's having a good time.
I'm having a good time. So far, smooth sailing with the traffic. Who knows as we get closer to San Diego. But I want to take a sec to listen to this Bang & Olufsen Advanced 3D sound system via the wireless Apple CarPlay. Let's hear what we got. We're at about half volume now. What, feeling it? I'm enjoying it. It's approval.
Sounds good.
Does sound good. And knowing that's only 50% of the volume output means that if you really wanted to head jam, you could in the SQ7, or you could just enjoy the clarity. About an hour in, and Christina's making fun of me. What else is new? We do that 5 minutes in, we do it an hour in, we do it until we get to the destination. We're coming up with ways to pass the time. We've tried I Spy. There's just not so many things to spy. So I've got another idea that the SQ7 can help with. We saw it briefly, but they're just, you can do some delicious polls and Talia likes it, right? Should we blast off, Talia? Okay, here we go. 3, 2. Whee! Yeah, it's not so great for the fuel economy, but it is for the smiles.
Okay, but Roby's asleep.
Oh yeah, right, so. But they should just put her more to sleep. We have not talked about visibility, so let's discuss that to the best of our ability while not being distracted by this one here.
I wonder how visible it will be at
It's
the
great.
zoo.
No, it's going to be great at the zoo. It's great here as well, though, because I can see the road in front of me very easily. Nice tall windshield, downward slope of the hood allows me to see that road. Tall side windows here, even with the sunshade up for my younger daughter over there on that side. I can see through that. There is a bit of a blind spot at the D pillar, but that's where blind spot monitoring helps out so that I can make my way around traffic with confidence. Speaking of traffic, I found some of it here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know who's excited about traffic, but you are.
I am, just to be able to use the system. So we've got adaptive cruise control, set my following distance, set my speed, and now no worrying about the throttle and braking. It's going to take care of that. And the steering, I'm just going to take my hands off for a second because it's a lane centering assist. And so it should stay right there in the middle of the lane. And it's doing it. Even on curves, it'll do it, but it'll ping pong you a little more than some systems. This isn't as sophisticated as like GM Super Cruise or Mercedes-Benz's driving assist features, but it helps reduce some of the driving fatigue on longer trips or highway commutes. And we've just about made it, and it's in good time because the girls are losing it, and so are we. But I think the SQ7 has upheld its end of the bargain. It provided a very comfortable and efficient route down here to San Diego. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
Yeah. And I think I only have 2 complaints. One would be the seat back padding, as Christina clarified earlier, could be a little softer. But 2, the massage doesn't last long enough. It should just go until I tell it to stop.
Yes.
Time's out after like 10 minutes. I need more massage. All right, let's do the zoo. We got the monkeys. Big kitties. Hey, big kitty. Stopping for some mediocre food. Get it? Meaty? Like a burger? Mediocre. It's not good. Ow. Neither was that joke. Ow. Now back to our regularly scheduled pandas. Mufasa.
No, not Mufasa.
And elephants. Well, that was quite the adventure, letting my little animals see all of the San Diego Zoo's animals. And now it's time to put fuel back in this 22.5 gallon tank. And the EPA rates the SQ7 at 15 mpg in the city, 21 on the highway, and 17 combined. However, over the last, 224 miles or so that I've been driving, with a lot of that being highway, but not all of it, I've been averaging about 19 miles per gallon. It's pretty good for a V8. And at current fuel prices of $4.99 for 91 octane gas that the SQ7 does require, it's going to cost me about $112 to fill this tank. And there isn't capless fueling. I got to work that much harder. Come on, Audi. Well, crew, at the beginning of this video, I pondered whether the V8 really made life better in the Q7 or just made it more complicated. And after some quality time spent behind the wheel, I can think of a couple ways in which it does improve the ownership experience, but a few sacrifices that come along with that. Want a way to spice up your commute? The noise and power come in handy for passing and for putting you and your whole family in a better mood. Thinking about safety? The SQ7's big brakes cut speed quickly, and the improved handling comes in clutch for emergency maneuvers. Okay, so there aren't a ton of objective reasons to choose the V8, but if you're worried about fuel economy, at least the SQ7 doesn't carry too big a penalty. If you're concerned with ride quality, the Sport Tune suspension doesn't ride too rough. And if you're thinking about the noise, it's only really loud when you want it to be. My only other nitpicks are applicable to all versions of the Q7. The third row is tight, the seat back padding could be softer, and this vehicle could benefit from a larger center console. In short, this is a spacious, quiet, comfortable 3-row SUV that will put a smile on your face when you've gotten over the $100,000 price tag. I hope you guys have enjoyed this day in the life, and don't forget to check out the GR48 Flexi Spot overhead garage storage rack with the link in my description. I'll see you again next time.